attorney Angelo Campano. Today we're going to be watching scenes from one of my favorite legal movies. It is called My Cousin Vinny. And I have to tell you, I've seen this movie quite a few times. A, because I like it. B, because I think it's funny. But C, as a lawyer, it is probably the movie closest to how a trial actually takes place. So without further ado, let's play.
I'm one of the boys. He's not going to let me look at his files, but, maybe he'll relax enough to drop his guard so that I can...
Okay, the scene we're watching here in Joe Pesci, My Cousin Vinny, is he just had a conversation with the DA, his opposing attorney, and he walks into the hotel room where his fiance is waiting for him, and he's got a box full of records. And he's all happy, he's all giddy, smiling, and his fiance says, "Why are you happy?" He goes, "Well, I just convinced the DA to give me all his records." And his fiance, who apparently has been reading criminal procedure book down in Alabama, she's not a lawyer, tells her he has to give it to you. It's called disclosure. Now, in criminal cases or civil cases, you have to exchange information. In criminal, it's more important because most of the evidence the DA has. The DA is the one that brings the charges. The DA is the one that's going to have the evidence. So the DA, it's called the Brady Rule. They have to disclose evidence that is going to help the defense. Now, I've had criminal trials. I've had things not produced to me. I've had to fight for it. I've got it. And I'm glad to say the trials I had ended in acquittals because we fought for that evidence. And we fought to make sure if they didn't have the evidence, that it went on the record in front of the jury that the evidence didn't exist. So disclosure is important, not just to find out what they have, but what they don't have. Because the way I approach sometimes closings with jurors is I explain it like ingredients in a meal. You can say it's a meal, you can call it a meal, but if you're missing ingredients, you're not going to be given the meal. And that's how sometimes juries resonate, because they see it and they say, okay, he didn't give me all the ingredients. He didn't have his case.
I'd sure like to get a look at your files.
Thank you.
Would?
Sure.
That's the way I look at it.
You got Xerox machine over
I also
there?
grew up in pizza shops, so I like food.
Oh, that's okay. I'll have my secretary do it. Shirley, can you Xerox all the files on the Gambini?
What Joe Pesci didn't understand was the DA has to give it to you. When the defense asks for it, they have to give it to you. Whether it's a civil case or a criminal case, we exchange information. We send what's called written request for information because I want to know what the other side has. I'm entitled to know. They're entitled to know what I have. And if I don't have it, I have to tell them I don't have it because that's part of the litigation. People bring a case, they have to prove it. If they can't prove it, they have no case. If the defense say we have a defense, great, prove it. Show me what you got. If you don't have it, you don't have a defense. And then most of the time the case will resolve because both sides realize that they don't always have the information they need. And they can't either prove their case or they can't defend it. Whether it's criminal or civil, happens in both types.
Terrific, you're a hell of a bondo.
What's this? You reading this book?
Yeah.
Do me a favor, okay? Don't read this book. Okay? Thank you very much.
All right. Don't you want to know why Trotter gave you his files?
I told you why already.
He has to. By law, you're entitled. It's called disclosure, you dickhead. He has to show you everything, otherwise it could be a mistrial. He has to give you a list of all his witnesses. You can talk to all his witnesses.
Now, the way they're talking,
he's not allowed any surprises.
you have to understand, they're from New York. So they're actually showing love for each other. That's how they're communicating. She may be using bad words, she may be cursing at him, but she's actually showing him affection. So she's not being mean to him.